What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
I'll see if I can make this quick. When my grandfather came here from the Philippines, he brought his best friend with him because his best friend would have been executed if he stayed in the Philippines. My grandfather met my grandmother, and the three of them all lived in a house in Webster Groves, Missouri for 52 years. Then when they all passed, we found letters that it was a lot more than the three of them just living together as roommates and married couple. They were the original poly couple for 50 years. I thought it was great. The rest of my family was in shock.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
Well, well, you see, it was me. I was the tea the whole time.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
Okay, yeah, so my family got so much tea, like so much tea. And I always knew everything because I was always in grown people business, asking questions and whatnot. But I'm gonna tell y'all my story because I actually didn't know this. So, yeah. Okay, so one day I was like 12 or 13 years old. My mom and my daddy, they was going through a divorce. So my mama had my daddy on speaker and they was arguing or whatever. And he was like, all right, put me on child support. I'm gonna pay child support for everybody except Tempest because everybody knows she not mine. So I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck he just said? And like, I asked my mama about it and she was like, yeah, he telling the truth. So I'm just like, well, dang, who my daddy is. So anyways, it turned out that my daddy was the drummer at the church. Apparently my daddy and my mama had separated and they went on a cruise.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
I am the family tea, actually. So when I was a little kid, like around 12, 13 years old, my uncle had this wife who has mental problems, who could not have children, who, long story short, was having an affair with my dad, who was trying to get my parents to have a divorce so that she could somehow get custody of me and my sister. And when that wasn't working out for her, she attempted to kidnap us. And when that didn't work, nobody cared. She still comes to all the family reunions. My own mother will interact with her and be nice to her and will get mad at me for not wanting to speak to her or not wanting my daughter around her. When she tried to kidnap me. When she tried to tear my whole family apart because she's crazy.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
The family's favorite uncle is a pedo, but it's okay though, because it's not like he's gay or anything.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
So I never knew this till I got older because my mom's not close with one of her sisters and I didn't even know she existed until I was in my teens. But this is about my mom's sister's oldest daughter. So she had this daughter when she was 18 or 17, really young. She had all her children really young. So this older daughter also gets pregnant at 18, has a kid. We'll call the guy she has a kid with Zach. 2 years later, she gets with Zach's brother. We'll call him Josh. She has a kid with Josh. So she's got a kid from both brothers, making them cousins. The children are cousins, but they're also sisters because through the mother, they're sisters. So they're sister cousins. And I got to learn this all in adulthood. And then she's messy and she got back with the first boy she slept with, the first oldest one. I'm like, ugh, I'm messy.
So my grandmother has 3 children. My aunt, who's the oldest, my mother, and then the youngest aunt. So growing up, the oldest aunt and my mother, they look very similar. You can definitely tell that those are sisters. But the youngest aunt, she just kind of looks different. Like my mom and my other aunt have brown hair, and it's kind of that wavy texture like mine. But the youngest aunt, she has black hair and it is curly like a perm. And we're all Italian, and they pretty much have like dark skin tone and everything. Not me, obviously. But her skin tone is like darker. So we would always joke around saying that her biological dad was a Mexican. But we didn't really know for sure. Fast forward to like 3-4 months ago. She takes an ancestry DNA test, right? It turns out that the Mexican is her biological father. So when talking to my grandmother about this, she was just begging me not to tell my grandpa, who was, by the way, not the father of those 3 children. That's like 4 husbands later. She's begging me not to tell my grandfather, and I'm like, listen, I don't really care that much. Like, and she starts going on and telling me, well, Jalen, Jimmy, the father of the other 2 girls, was always out cheating on me, and this dude offered me a burrito, and I just had to. Y'all, my grandma gave it up for a burrito. A burrito.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
Oh, where do I begin? This story was told by 2 people, my mom and my dad, who I call Fat Man, and I will refer to him as Fat Man throughout this video. So my mom and the Fat Man knew each other since they were 5 years old. They grew up in the same neighborhood. The Fat Man was very popular with the ladies and with how he get his cash flow. I don't want to go into that. That's not my business. So my mother's sister, my auntie, I don't consider her my auntie, but she tried to put a wedge between the Fat Man and my mother because she wanted to date him because she wanted his money. Even after they had 5 kids together, don't come at me for my nails, she tried to still get with him. Now, we all older. He is a multimillionaire, and she is still trying to find her way in his life.
What's the family tea that you found out once you got older?
Finding out that my house is witchcrafted and that it's been the cause of majority of our problems and family fights growing up and even till this day. And that it was done by one of my family members out of jealousy. Don't you just love family?
Yeah, nobody can take away the things we share. Hope you don't mind how I need you like the air. The way I love you, they don't understand. And it's crazy how you're my best friend. You're always in my mind, let's dance to the rhythm of your heartbeat. The way I love you, they don't understand. And it's crazy how you're my best friend. You're always in my mind, let's dance to the rhythm of your heartbeat. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with, 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 dance with me. Oh my love, can you dance with me?